Hey everyone, good evening and welcome to Old Iron Garage. So tonight I am back on the Homelite XL12. If you have not watched part 1 and part 2 of this video series, then please go back and watch those first. But anyways, tonight I'm going to work on cleaning up the cylinder a little bit. So I watched some videos online, I talked to some people, and then I went back and looked at the cylinder, and I believe the worst of what I was feeling with my fingernail and the worst of what I was seeing is aluminum transfer from the piston onto the chrome liner of the cylinder. And from what I found out from talking to people and from watching videos online is you can go in there by hand with some fine grit sandpaper and some Scotch-Brite pad and carefully remove that and clean up the cylinder. And as long as it's not scored badly, as long as the scoring is mainly just below the exhaust port, and you get all the metal transfer off, the cylinder might still be usable. I mean, it might not be as good as it once was, but you can still get a good running saw out of it. So I am going to try my hand at that. I've already been in there with some Scotch-Brite pad. And I mean, I was a little skeptical at first, but the guy brought up one guy in one video brought up a good point. You have to work pretty hard to work through that chrome liner unless the cylinder's got a lot of hours on it and it's already worn really thin. So, yeah, I'm just gonna try it. I'm gonna work on this cylinder by hand with some super fine grit sandpaper, and I'll start at something a little bit more coarse and work my way up to the finer stuff and finish it with the Scotch-Brite pad like he did, and we'll see what happens. Anyway, I'm going to spin this camera around. I got started a little bit with the Scotch-Brite pad just to kind of test the waters a little bit, and we'll see what I've done. Okay guys, so as you can see here below the exhaust port, after going at it with a Scotch-Brite pad, you can see pretty clearly what is actual scoring and what is metal transfer. And it's already cleaned up quite a bit just by me going at it a little bit with a Scotch-Brite pad. Now there is scoring above, or what I believe to be scoring above the exhaust port. So, I mean, the cylinder's never going to be as good as it once was. But, I mean, what do I have to lose exactly? I mean, right now, the cylinder's trash. So if I, do all this work and it's really not much better or any better, then all I've really lost is some time and I've gained some knowledge. So, yeah, we're going to give it a go and see what happens. Alright guys, I'm back. So I went around and went over it with some 220 grit. I decided to start with 220 grit, and because he said that the guy in the video, the one video I watched, said that was fine. And then just to work your way to finer sandpaper, and it still looks visually very rough, but I almost can't feel anything at all with my fingernail. Yeah, like I said, I still have to go to like finer and finer I'm tired. Finer and finer grit sandpaper, but yeah, it's a start. I mean, if nothing else, if I end up trashing this cylinder, well, it was already trashed to begin with, so let's just see what happens. Alright guys, I wish I could get it to focus a little better, but yeah, that's it. Like, what you can see remaining there, I can barely feel with my fingernail. I really think that this cylinder will run. How long? I don't know. It might run for a long time yet. But, I mean, it'll never be as good as it once was. There will, because of the scoring above the exhaust port, there will be some loss of compression. But I think this might end up getting a new piston and rings. It's going to be a cheap aftermarket one. I'm not going to spend good money to put a OEM piston and rings in here. Maybe someday this saw will get a new OEM cylinder and piston and rings, but I mean, right now I'm broke. Money's tight. Everything's crazy expensive, so it's not like I need this saw to make a living or anything. But I mean, this cylinder, it did clean up pretty nice, I guess, except for that the scoring. But like I said, it looks much, much worse than what it is. I really can't even feel it. Or almost. I can almost can't feel it. My fingernail barely catches on it. So I guess I'll try to run this. See what happens. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you really enjoyed this. If you like this video, then please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Alright, later.